An investor writes you a check, and the first thing that they ask for is a board seat. And most founders just say yes in about 4 seconds. It feels like the polite thing to do. But that one yes can hand a near stranger a vote on your own future. I'll show you what a board seat really is, why most investors actually don't need one, and the 3 things that you can say to talk them out without losing the check. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do the next time an investor asks for a board seat. Take a founder. I'll call him Ajay. Early round, one angel investor asks for a board seat. Ajay gives it immediately just to seal the deal. 18 months later, Ajay wants to make a big call, a new direction for his own company. And he can't because that angel now has a vote, and the angel votes no. Think about it for a second. Ajay built the company, and on the biggest decision of his life, he got outvoted on his own boardroom by a man who wrote one small check. That is the part nobody tells you about investing. A board seat is not a thank you that you give for the money. It is a piece of your control gone, and you don't get it back. And there is one rule that decides whether a seat is worth even giving, and I'm saying that for the end of this video. Hi, my name is Kishore Dasaka, and I run a fractional CFO firm. Over the last 20 years, I've sat through hundreds of term sheets, and the board seat is one of the things on the table that founders give away far too easily. Please understand this. A seat feels like a small thank you note for the check. It is actually a piece of your control leaving the room. And founders hand it over without a second thought. In this video, we are going to see what a seat really is, what the investor already has without having a seat, the India problem that nobody plans for, the 3 things to say when an investor pushes for a board seat, and the one rule that settles it. First things first, a board seat and a shareholding. Now, these are 2 completely different things, and founders mix them up all the time. So, let me separate them. A shareholder owns a piece of the company. They get their share of a sale, their returns, their information. A director, however, owns a piece of the decision making of that company. They sit in the room where the company is run. They vote, and in the eyes of the law, they are right. Now, think about it. You can own most of your company and hold no seat at all. But you can also hold a seat and almost no shares in the company. Shares is money, but a seat is the power center. They're not the same lever. Now, getting back to our example on Ajay, one angel, one small check, and one board seat. We'll follow that one seat through everything that comes next so that you see exactly what one chair costs. Let's go. Point number 1, a seat is a vote on your own job. Here's the thing that most founders get wrong about a board seat. They think that the board is there to advise them. It is not. The board is there to govern them. So, what does the board actually do? Its single most important job is to hire and fire the CEO. And the CEO is you. The day you give away a board seat to an investor, you give them a vote on your job that you cannot afford to lose. Your own job. And this is not theory. Look at what the data says, and it is totally brutal. Roughly half of founder CEOs are pushed out within 18 months of a big funding round. Not because they failed, but because the founder and the board stop agreeing on the direction of the company. And the board is the side that gets to decide who stays. And here's how it actually happens. In most cases, it is not a dramatic fight. Year one, everyone is a friend. The investor is a cheerleader, cheering you on every meeting. Then the company hits a hard patch, a pivot, a down round, possibly a tough call. And slowly, the cheerleader becomes a referee, the same person now blowing a whistle on your own decisions. And that is the seat doing its work. The vote you gave away just to be polite is the vote that now decides whether you stay or not. So understand what a board seat really is. It is not a thank you note for a check that the investor is signing. It is a vote on whether you keep running the company that you built. Give it only to someone that you genuinely trust with that vote. Point number 2, they already have control that they want. Here's the irony that most founders miss. The investor is asking for a board seat to protect his money. They never needed the seat to do it in the first place. He already had the protection in another page of a contract. Now, let me explain that. Almost every investment agreement already carries something called as reserved matters. Some people call them protective provisions. So, what are they? It is a big list of decisions that the company cannot make without the investor's nod. Taking on a heavy debt, selling the company, issuing new shares, changing the way the business is run. Now, think about what that means. The founder runs day to day freely, but the founder cannot blow up things that matter to the investor without a sign off from the investor. So the investor's real protection is not the chair. It is that clause in the term sheet. They do not want to sit in every board meeting to hold on to that veto. The power is already there in the clause, not in the chair. So when an investor asks for a seat on top of the reserved matter, ask them one simple question. What does that seat give you that your veto does not already have? And most of the time, the honest answer is nothing. Nothing except a vote on your own job. So before you give a seat away, read what you've already signed in the term sheet. If the investor has reserved matters, they're almost already covered. The seat is not more protection for them, it is actually less control for you. Point number three, in India, every director is a tax on your time. So far, this is about control. Now, the part that founders in India never planned for. Because in India, the cost of a board seat is not just a vote that you gave away. It is what the law makes you do every single time you want the board to decide on anything. Now, let me walk you through it. An Indian company has to hold proper board meetings, notice in advance, a real agenda, and a quorum. So, what is a quorum? It is the minimum number of directors who need to be present for a decision to make it count. Now, think about what an extra director does to that process. You've added one more person whose presence or whose absence can make or break that quorum. If your investor director won't pick up the phone, some decisions simply cannot happen. Now, the virtual part, because nobody meets in a room these days. Indian law lets directors join by video conference, but the moment they do, the rules wake up. The meeting has to be recorded, the recording has to be stored for several years, and the chair has to take a roll call, every director stating their name and the location on record. And the quorum has to hold the whole way through the meeting. If the director drops off the call, then the quorum can break in the middle of a decision. So understand this. There is not a quick Zoom meeting and a handshake. It is a recorded, minuted, roll called legal proceeding every single time. And every extra director that you have in your board is one more calendar to chase. One more person has to show up and one more signature that you are waiting on. So in India, my friend, a board seat is not a one-time gift. It is a standing tax on your time. Keep the board small and the company moves. If you fill it with small checks, you'll spend the rest of your life scheduling board meetings. Point number four, the three things that the founder has to say when an investor pushes for a board seat. So the investor pushes saying that he wants a board seat. You don't want to give it and you don't want to lose the check either. So here are three things that you can say and all three of them are true. And then the offer that gives them what they actually wanted. The first reason, the name reason. Tell them that a seat puts their own name at risk. A director in India carries huge personal liability. So if the company ever slips on a tax filing or a statutory due, the notice lands on directors by name, whatever the size of the check. And I've seen that happen to my friend. An investor with a tiny check hit with a hard tax notice in his own name for a default that he had nothing to do, purely because he sat on the board. So say it plainly. I don't want your name to be exposed on something that you never touched. Think about it. Most investors have never considered this. And the moment that you say it, the seat starts to look a lot less attractive to them too. You're not blocking them, you're just protecting them. The second reason, the veto reason. Send them back to the term sheet. Remind them they already have a veto on every major decision that touches their money. So ask them, what does a seat give you that your reserved matters already don't? 9 out of 10 times, there is no real answer. The power is in the clause and they already have the clause. The third reason, the speed reason. Tell them that the heavier board slows the company down. And every director in India means recorded, roll called, quorum bound board meetings. Now comes the offer. Because you're just saying no, you're giving them a better yes. Give them something called as a board observer seat. They sit in every meeting, they see every paper, they ask every question, but they carry no vote and no liability. And give them full information rights, your numbers in writing every month, so that they're never in the dark. Even if you have to absolutely give them a board seat to close the round, write into the documents that the seat falls away at your next big round. You get them off the board exactly when a serious investor arrives. So you borrow the chair, you don't gift the chair. So when they push back, you have three reasons and a better offer. The name reason, the veto reason, and the speed reason. Then here's an observer seat and full reporting instead. That is not a founder dodging. That is a founder who's done this before. Point number 5, one rule. The check has to earn the chair. What would have saved Ajay the whole mess? The rule that keeps you from getting out vetoed in your own boardroom. A board seat is only worth giving above a real number. Below that number, it is a bad deal for you and for them. And the best investors already know this. So let me tell you the line that I use. Don't give a board seat for a small check. As a rough rule, no seat unless the investor is putting in serious money or taking a real slice of the company. Think double digit ownership here, not a few token percentage point. Now, why does the size matter for both sides? For you, a seat means giving up a vote on your own job, plus all the compliance weight, and that trade is only worth for an investor that is backing you in a big way. For them, a seat only makes sense if their stake is large enough that the liability that comes with it is worth carrying. Below that line, they are also taking a director's risk to protect any tiny bet. That is a bad deal, and a serious investor already knows it. The investors who push hardest for a seat on a small check are usually the ones who understand the risk the least. The serious ones who've already done this hundreds of times before rarely ask for a seat on a small stake. They're asking for reserved matters, an observer seat, and clean reporting because they already know that the seat is more pain than the protection until the check size is really big. So that is the board seat. Not a trophy, not a thank you. It is a vote on your own job, and it is almost impossible to take it back. It's only worth giving to an investor who's truly all in. For everyone else, use the observer seat and a clean reporting to do the job. And if you found this video helpful, share this with another founder who may need it.